villager was arrested on a drunk driving charge after she was found slumped over in a car in a parking lot at Spanish Springs Town Square. Officers found 60-year-old Lori Jean Miller in a Toyota Camry in the wee hours Thursday morning when investigating a suspicious person report, according to an arrest report from the Liddy Lake Police Department. The car's engine was running. When officers spoke with the Pennsylvania native, the overwhelming smell of alcohol was detected. She had a paper cup in her vehicle, and it appeared to hold sangria. She said she had consumed 2 Long Island iced teas. Miller participated in field sobriety exercises, but her poor performance led officers to conclude she was impaired. She provided breath samples that registered .153 and .160 blood alcohol content. She was arrested on a charge of driving under the influence and ticketed for the open container violation. She was booked at Lake County Jail and released after posting a $1,000 bond. A teen who would not stop drinking was arrested after allegedly slapping her mother. Not in my house. Officers were called at about 2 a.m. Tuesday to a home in the 800 block of Ridge Avenue where 19-year-old Emily Diane Byram slapped her mother, according to the arrest report of the Wildwood Police Department. The mother told the police that she wanted her daughter to stop drinking, wrap things up for the night, and go to sleep. According to the arrest report, Byram responded by slapping her 44-year-old mother. Byram was arrested on a charge of battery and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center, where she was initially held without bond. A Mariana Village woman who was said to be in a rage allegedly left bruises on a man during an altercation. Allison Kelly Carney, 55, was arrested Monday on a charge of battery after the man reported the attack to Sumter County Sheriff's Department. The man said he had been in an argument with Carney in which she was yelling and screaming at him, according to the arrest report. He said Carney reached out and struck him in the left side of his facial area near his forehead, inflicting 2 scratches with minor bleeding. He said Carney was in a rage. She grabbed the man by the biceps and left bruises on him. The report indicated the pair are in a domestic relationship. Carney was booked at Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $1,000 bond. The Massachusetts native had been jailed earlier this year on a probation violation. The probation stemmed from a 2020 drunk driving arrest after she crashed an Audi 4 in the roundabout at Buena Vista Boulevard and Bailey Trail. I want to talk just a little bit about the hurricane that we just had. We here in the villages know that we were very lucky that we got by this time. But I wanted to point out a few things. One was, if you watched all the so-called computer-generated predictions of the path that it was going to take, and if anybody watched it, they had it all pointed out to go all the way from Panhandle to hit land, or Tampa, Florida to hit the land. And as it kept getting closer and closer, those generations of the path really didn't change all that much. And I had some friends here that's never been through a hurricane before. I have. Hurricane Irma, and there was another one years ago, and I can't remember what it was. We were here on vacation, and I went through one. So I kind of see how they build up as they get closer. And I told them, so just don't worry. Don't panic right now. I mean, just watch it. Have all your stuff ready in case. And by that, I mean, you go outside and anything can be blown around. You bring it in. Cranes that sticks in your flower bed that looks pretty. Welcome mats in front of your front door. Barbecue grills on the back, lawn chairs sitting out front, all that kind of stuff. Pack it in the garage, throw it in a lanai if you got an enclosed lanai like I do. Get it up, get it in here, get it out of the way. Even outside tables, get them in. I had a neighbor that lost a $500 table because the wind blew it over and it had a glass top and it broke it. All that little stuff, you have to get it in, get it out of the way and protect it. But now talking about the villages, some of the things that they do here. By the way, as I'm talking here, I'll throw some pictures up that I've got that you can kind of see some of the things going on that they do to prepare for a storm. One of the things that they do is they take down all the gate arms so that emergency vehicles, if they call for an evacuation, emergency vehicles can get in, get out. People can get out also easier without the gates going up and going down. And there's this premise that the gates could fail. Electricity goes out or whatever, the gates could fail. So they take the gate arms down. They go around and they trim a lot of the palm trees. They'll cut the tops of them off. I don't know how this works either. I guess the palm trees survive it, but I've seen them cut the top of the palm trees plumb off. That cuts down the wind that can blow them palm trees over. And so it's like a big stick sticking up in the air, and it doesn't take any wind. It won't blow over. Bushes can be removed. and put away. I've seen people do that. They'll take bushes around their houses in loose soil or whatever, and they'll dig them up, put them in a pot, and put them in a garage. The Villages does that at the squares. They'll take some of the landscaping out and put it away. With that, we have volunteers that came. Well, they're not volunteers. They get paid very well for it. But the electric companies from all over the United States, and I do believe even Canada, came down here in preparation for this storm. They had them. Staged. Gosh, I wish I could remember. I tell you where, but I'm not sure. I think they were staged around Bradenton, Florida area. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. Put a comment below or something. Let us know. But there was over like 10,000 vehicles, electric trucks, something like 20 or 30,000 workers here. We need them. They're still here as I'm talking to you on this right now, getting ready for the news this next week. Today is Sunday. They're still here. They're still working. Lights are coming on. There are still a lot of people that still don't have power, but it is getting better. Fort Lauderdale, Punta Gorda. It's ironic, isn't it? I just done a video on my RV channel, I think, showing you Punta Gorda. Sue and I took a trip, went down there for the day. I go to Harpoon Harry's at the Fisherman's Village, and that's where I get my seafood, and we walk around and you just enjoy it down there. Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte area is scenic, very scenic. I like it. That originally was our first choice to retire. We was going to buy a home there, not necessarily in a retirement community, just a home. And a hurricane went through years ago called Hurricane Harry or something like that. You have to Google it. We went down on vacation again, and I thought, let's go down and check it out after hurricane and see exactly how much damage they actually sustained in a hurricane. And I was, it was a shocker. We couldn't even hardly go into town. We was there like 2 days after that hurricane. And animal control was all over town, getting poisonous snakes and alligators, and I don't even know what all kind of animals that, because of the storm surge, they were in town on the streets and whatever. Sue and I passed a couple of them, a couple large alligators that was in a drainage ditch next to a road, and that's not normal. So I decided then that at our age, we don't need to be going through that kind of thing. Even though I would love to have a house closer to the beach, I'm not going to go through that. That's why we decided to buy inland. We knew that if hurricane would come, and we knew the odds are that we're going to see a hurricane or two in our lifetime. I've already seen one. Irma came right through here. You know, we just figured it'd die out a lot inland, which is true. I just wanted to let you guys know that things here did go good this time. I just don't panic. Everybody else will do what they got to do. If they feel good running, they're going to do it. I had neighbors that did, and I'll keep an eye on their place. I told them I would, and I did. So thanks for your concern. Thanks for all the emails. Thanks for everything that you guys did. I appreciate it. I truly do. We watch all that. So anyway, appreciate it. Let's get back to the news. I appreciate all you guys. Letters to the editor. Why are the gas stations in and around the villages not lowering their prices for gasoline? The governor signed a bill a few months back making October a gas tax holiday month. So are they pocketing the extra dough? That's sent in by Lou Maruzzo, Village of Amelia. I don't know. That's interesting. I didn't realize October was a gas tax a free month. But if it is, that's only state tax. That's the only tax he has control over. Federal tax is the big tax. State tax could be just a few cents. But I understand what you're saying. A few cents will help a lot of people, me included. I don't know. Good question. I wish I had an answer. I just don't have one. Somebody out there may have, though, and they can provide us with some information in the comments below. A suspected shoplifter defecated on herself. Good God. How disgusting can people be? How disgusting can people be? While fleeing with stolen merchandise from Walmart at Buffalo Ridge Plaza in the Villages, Crystal Diane Kaiser, 40, of Weirsdale, began to run from the store at about 8:30 p.m. after another shopper pointed her out to a Sumter County Sheriff's deputy investigating a theft report at the store. The Wisconsin native fled from the deputy, who ordered her to stop 3 times. The deputy warned Kaiser she would be tasered if she did not stop. She stopped and defecated on herself before complying. Deputies commanded her to get down on the ground. The store's general manager came out and identified the merchandise in Kaiser's bag. I bet he came out at a distance. There were 16 items taken from the store with a value of $212. Past the manager, I think I said, keep it. I don't want it. You're not taking that back in my store. Man, what do you think? I'm not getting into it. Video surveillance showed Kaiser taking the item from the store. Kaiser was arrested and charged of theft and resisting arrest. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center on $2,000 bond. Oh, Lord, I'm just thinking somebody has to get her, catch her, right? They got to handcuff her. They got to pick her up. Gravity. They have to put her in the car. And then he has to get in that same car and drive her to the police station. Sometimes the police officers just don't have a good day. You know what I mean? Lordy. Duke Energy has moved 10,000 linemen and support personnel into its 35 county service area, which includes part of the villages, Lake, Sumter, and Marion counties. More than 2,000 trucks and more than 6,000 workers rolled into the 80-acre staging site in the villages. The site, located on State Road 471, was filled to capacity by 11 a.m. Wednesday, once the crews had situated their trucks and checked their equipment, they were transported by buses to area hotels. Many of the linemen and their equipment are from dozens of other companies from across the country, from Michigan, Indiana, Tennessee, Texas, and even Ontario, Canada. Though customers may not see a Duke Energy logo on the side of the truck, these workers are here because they responded to Duke's request to help to restore power to their customers. And we need them, and we thank them. And all the first responders. Those of you that think defunding the police is a good thing, just think about that. The firemen that went out there, the rescue people, the helicopters that got people out. These are all first responders. The nurses and doctors that took care of the injured. The police department that keeps them from going in and looting things. Good Lord, I could just go on. Villages are relying on its retention ponds to hold the rainfall from Hurricane Ian, thereby protecting the community from flooding. The village's extensive stormwater system includes more than 700 lakes, basins, and wetland areas. To ensure adequate capacity of the stormwater management system throughout the community, the district has been lowering water levels in certain retention ponds to remain within recommended levels and to capture water runoff from the streets, yards, golf courses. The sight of sprinkler systems running during rainy periods frequently prompts questions from residents. They run them water sprinklers on these golf courses 24/7 before the storm even gets here. That lowers the water level in the lakes and the ponds that they've got targeted, so that when the storm does get here, the water's got some place to go. Not rocket science, but it's very effective. In the wake of Hurricane Ian, Florida's Insurance Commissioner David Altemeyer has issued an emergency order that will temporarily prevent property insurers from dropping customers. The order will suspend cancellations or non-renewals of policies for 2 months between September 28, 2022 and November 28, 2022. No insurer or other entity regulated under the Florida Insurance Code shall cancel or non-renew or issue a notice of cancellation or non-renewal of a policy or contract of insurance covering a property or risk in Florida except at the written request or written concurrence of the policyholder. The commissioner issued a similar order in 2017 after the aftermath of Hurricane Irma. The order will also provide a bit of temporary relief for homeowners in the state who are fearful of losing their coverage unrelated to the catastrophic storm which unleashed its wrath in southwest Florida. Residents of Florida now have the highest property insurance rates in the nation. The Insurance Information Institute reports the average premium in Florida is $4,231, nearly triple the U.S. average of $1,544. That's about what it was when I first moved here. And just let me tell you right off the cuff, it's a very big concern of mine. Damage assessments are taking place this morning in the wake of Hurricane Ian. The villages appears to have dodged a bullet as the storm took a southward track. Power outages were at a minimum. Palm fronds, F-R-O-N-D-S, by the way, they're not leaves, they're fronds. They're not a branch, they're fronds. Palm fronds were down on roadways and in common areas. The storm moved through the villages and was later downgraded to a tropical storm. We dodged a bullet this time. Nobody saw that track coming. A suspected catalytic converter thief arrested multiple times last year has landed back behind bars. David Wayne Sirix, 39 of Ocklawaha, was being held over the weekend at the Lake County Jail following his arrest on multiple warrants. Cyranex has been arrested last year in Lady Lake. Several tools commonly used in the theft of catalytic converters were in the plain sight of his vehicle. These tools included a battery-operated DeWalt saw, multiple screwdrivers, batteries, and latex gloves. When he was taken into custody at Rolling Acres Road and County Road 466, he was reaching for a gun. He was also driving on a suspended license. That just goes without saying. A week later, while he was free on a $16,000 bond, he was arrested on a felony charge of grand theft after an all-terrain vehicle was missing. He has also been charged with the theft last year of catalytic converters valued at $5,000 and $3,000. They were stolen from RVs stored at the Tri-Am RV Center in Marion County. Cinerex had been spotted there with a woman in the wee hours. A DNA sample on a flashlight tied him to the scene of the crime. The local law enforcement officials have been warning for many months about thieves' desire for precious metals contained in catalytic converters. I hate a thief. Governor Ron DeSantis has announced the appointment of an insurance agent in the Villages to a statewide board. Kevin McDonald has been named to the Career Source Florida Board of Directors. McDonald is an agency owner for Allstate Insurance Company. He is a director of Citizens First Bank of the Villages, a member of the Marion County Child's Alliance, Kids Central Incorporated, and the vice president of Sumter County Chamber of Commerce. McDonald earned his bachelor's degree from the University of Central Florida. Well, this just goes on and on and on, just patting him on the back for all the degrees he has. My question is, what's he going to do about homeowners insurance here? $4,000? That's crazy. It's crazy nuts. This is a retiree state. You're supposed to be taking care of the retiree people here on a fixed income. So my question is, what are you going to do? Between you and DeSantis, what are you going to do? A Village of Marsh Bend resident has wrapped up a 10-day jail sentence after he was caught behind the wheel of a car after losing his license in a drunk driving conviction. Greg Don Wojcik, 65, who lives in the Lee Villas, was released Wednesday from the Lake County Jail. He was sent immediately to jail on September 22nd after pleading no contest to a charge of driving while license suspended in Lake County Court. He could have faced a 30-day jail sentence. Wojcik was driving a beige Toyota sedan shortly after 9 a.m. May 7th on U.S. Highway 27 and 441 and County Road 466 in Lake County when a check of his license plate revealed the vehicle's registered owner had a driver's license which had been revoked. The officer making the traffic stop confirmed that the Chicago native's driving privileges had been revoked for 5 years following a 2018 conviction of driving under the influence. Wojcik admitted he knew his license was revoked, but he claimed he was working through his lawyer to get his license reinstated. What can you say? A lonely sign blows in the wind on Rolling Acres Road calling for justice for Jamie. Jamie White's 40 was walking at 9:47 p.m. September 11th when the driver of a Jeep Cherokee ran off the road and hit her as she was walking northbound on the grassy shoulder of Rolling Acres Road, according to the accident report. Driver fled the scene. To date, there have been no arrests and there is no justice for Jamie. On that fateful night, Wetz Wines had been accompanied by a 31-year-old male companion. He was also struck and was airlifted to Ocala Regional Medical Center. Lynch was pronounced dead at the scene. Skid marks are still visible on the roadway. Weeks after the hit-and-run crash, traffic homicide investigators found parts from the hit-and-run vehicle at the scene, which is near American Legion Post 347. The vehicle being sought is a 2014 through 2018 Jeep Cherokee. It should be missing the passenger side mirror and front right headlight. Anyone with information, call 407-737-2213. Well, this is just another example of what I say that backs up what I say. You do what you want, but I have said I would not ride a bicycle. I would not walk on any two-lane road around here. Here's another reason why. The Villages will present a plan to a special magistrate this week for 3,000 more homes in the village of Southern Oaks. The plan will be among the proposal put forth Tuesday afternoon before Special Magistrate Lindsay C.T. Holt at Wildwood City Hall. The meeting will take place at 2:15 p.m. The Villages Development Company, LLC, is seeking to put the homes on 1,459 acres, which are located a little over a mile southwest of the Florida Turnpike and east of Marsh Bend Trail. Though a part of the Villages, the homes would also be within the city of Wildwood. Two sinkholes has opened up at a golf course in the villages in the wake of Hurricane Ian. The pair of sinkholes are at the El Diablo Executive Golf Course, which is located in Community Development District 2. The sinkholes, which have been marked off by yellow tape, are not far from the multimodal path off El Camino Real in the village of Santiago. Hurricane Ian arrived Wednesday in the villages and departed Thursday, depositing plenty of rain and bringing plenty of wind. After Hurricane Irma in 2017, sinkholes were a real problem. There was a sinkhole at the Hawks Bay Executive Golf Course and a sinkhole off Mark Ridge Loop by hole number 3 of the Jacaranda 9 at Cane Garden Country Club. A pond in the village of Alhambra was also plagued with sinkholes. Yeah, that's the problem with the rain around here. The rain can be controlled. It's the sinkholes. The rain, a lot of rain usually causes these sinkholes to pop up. They're going to pop up eventually. It makes them pop up faster. And just think of a sinkhole as kind of like a tornado. That's a good example that I can come up with. You know, you could live in Indiana, but how many people ever buy a house in Indiana and then ask, do you have very many tornadoes around here? Nobody ever asks that. I mean, the whole Midwest can have a tornado anywhere at any time. Florida too. Hurricane spawns off a lot of tornadoes. But sinkholes pop up anywhere. I've seen them in Pennsylvania, saw them in Indiana. I know there was several in Kentucky. There's no area that I would say is more prone to sinkholes than other areas. They just pop up. I often wondered, though, before they actually allow somebody to build a bunch of houses like they do here in the villages, do they do sonar, ground penetration sonar, to make sure that the area is safe to build on? Just an interesting thought I had. I don't know if that's true. Don't know if it's done. I've never heard anybody talk about it, but you kind of wonder why not. A New Yorker has entered a plea in connection with a drunk driving arrest after a golf cart mishap at Cody's Original Roadhouse at Wildwood in the Villages. Diane Tompkins, 62, of Port Jefferson, New York, pleaded not guilty last week in Sumter County to a charge of driving under the influence. She's being represented by attorney Melanie Slaughter, who earlier this year won an acquittal in a case in which Ed McGinty had been charged with stalking a woman with whom he had been in with a heated political disagreement. Tompkins was found by Community Watch at about 11:30 p.m. September 10th with her golf cart on a fence. I still think it's funny. Officers asked her how her golf got up there, and she told them she didn't know. Thompson admitted that she had consumed 4 drinks containing vodka. She told the police she has diabetes. A check of her blood sugar showed that it was normal. She nearly fell multiple times while participating in field sobriety exercises. She provided breath samples that registered .197 and .192 blood alcohol content. Criminal history check revealed that she had been convicted of driving under the influence in 2007 in South Hold, New York, and in 2009 in Suffolk, New York. She remains free on a $500 bond. Oh, you guys remember this picture. The neighbors, if I remember right on this story, she'd been doing some really weird stuff, and the neighbors were concerned, put it that way. And she ended up in a chase by the police, got out of her car with a crowbar, and threatened a police officer, and I think she's been in jail ever since, I think. A villager whose strange behavior frightened her neighbors has been found incompetent. Carolyn Kolniski, 65, of the village of Belvedere, continues to be held at the Marion County Jail since her arrest in 2021, when she led multiple law enforcement agencies on a high-speed chase. When Kolniski finally came to a stop, she reached down to the passenger side floorboard, picked up a yellow crowbar, and threatened officers with it. Last year, while she was behind bars, neighbors appeared before the Community Development District 5 Board of Supervisors and detailed her strange behavior. Her home in the Halaya Villas was found to be in violation of deed compliance due to overgrown grass and a no trespassing sign that she had posted. During the CDD5 meeting last year, a neighbor complained that Kalinsky stood in the street and screamed at people. He said she had thrown pots and pans into his yard. Last month, a judge in Marion County came to the same conclusion. The judge ruled that Kalinsky should be committed to the Department of Children and Families for competency restoration. Encompass Health Corporation has announced it plans to build Encompass Health Rehabilitation Hospital of Wildwood, a freestanding 50-bed inpatient rehabilitation hospital in the Villages, Florida. The hospital will be located south of Megason Road and Warren Springs Avenue intersection. Complementing local acute care services, the future hospital will serve patients recovering from debilitating illnesses and injuries, including stroke and other neurological disorders, brain injuries, spinal cord injuries, amputations, and complex orthopedic conditions. conditions. In addition, 24-hour nursing care. This hospital will offer physical, occupational, and speech therapies to restore functional ability and quality of life. Care will be provided by highly specialized nurses, therapists, physicians. The hospital will feature all private patient rooms, a spacious therapy gym, and advanced rehabilitation technologies, and an activities and daily live suite, cafeteria, dining room, pharmacy, and therapy courtyard. Sounds expensive. Real expensive. Make sure you got good insurance. A mother is facing sentencing after inflicting a skull fracture on her young daughter at a home in the Villages. Jessica Lee Lewis, 36, is scheduled to be sentenced later this month in Lake County Court on a charge of aggravated child abuse in connection with a 2018 incident which occurred on the historic side of the Villages. Lewis had taken her child to Newmar's Children's Hospital in Orlando, where it was determined the child had suffered a skull fracture. The Department of Children and Families was contacted and launched an investigation. A doctor also confirmed the child had several fractures in various stages of healing on the legs, right arm, and ribs. During the investigation, Lewis's grandmother told the police that her great-grandchild seemed to cry a lot, and Jessica was annoyed by her crying. The great-grandmother dismissed it, telling police that it is normal for an infant to cry a lot. No, it's not. Lewis had been released from Florida prison in 2017 after serving time on drug charges as well as a grand theft charge. Her grandmother allowed Lewis to move in with her on St. Andrews Boulevard upon her release from prison. Oh, this is a thief. She's a thief. I said then they should put her in jail for life. Just put her in jail for life. This is the one. Lewis, while free on bond in the child abuse case, drained her grandmother's bank account of more than $100,000. The grandmother was 98 at the time. Poor lady. Lewis had linked her PayPal account to her grandmother's bank account. Lewis used money from the account to pay for phone calls to her boyfriend, who was held in the Marion County jail on federal drug charges. Lewis also put money in his commissary account at the jail. Lewis has pleaded no contest in that case. She will be sentenced on a charge of grand theft from a person over the age of 65. Put her in jail for life. I said it then. If she was in jail then, you wouldn't have this problem now. She's useless. She'll steal from her own grandmother, wiping her out, and maybe even, well, she would have killed this grandchild if it hadn't been caught. If she'll do that to her own child, your child hasn't got a chance. Just get her out of here. Get her away from everybody. You can't cure a person like this. I've always had this idea about our prison system and maybe make people a little bit more scared of it. We are always using third parties to do everything. How about we just job out the prison system? Make a deal with Mexico. We always take care of the Mexican people, don't we? We got like how many millions of them now are here illegally, and we just seem to defend it? Send our prisoners to Mexico. Let them feed and house these people. Let's pay them like $10 a day per prisoner, and they got to feed, house them, and everything. But I'll bet these people wouldn't like that, huh? I bet that'll slow the crime rate down, knowing that's what we're going to do. The Village's head of hospitality has been named to lead the newly created Community Development District 15 Board of Supervisors. Spencer Novak, who is Executive Director of Hospitality for the Villages, will serve as chairman of the CDD 15 Board. CDD 15, located southwest of the Florida Turnpike and east of Marsh Bend Trail. CDD 15 is made up of 2,495 acres of land and will include 12,344 homes. The Villages will construct the roadways, utilities, amenities, drainage, landscaping, and water bodies at an estimated cost of more than $598 million. CDD 15 will own, operate, and maintain the utilities, amenities, drainage, facilities, landscaping, and bodies of water. The city of Wildwood will own, operate, and maintain the roads within CDD 15. Cooper Haig, son of State Representative Brett Haig, has been selected to serve as the Secretary-Treasurer for CDD 15. Those of you that don't know the story of Brett Haig and our developer, you should educate yourself. Other supervisors are Dana Graham, who works for the Village's Commercial Property Management, Jennifer Chandler, and Liz Rodriguez. The supervisors chosen by the developer will serve until the CDD 15 board ultimately transitions to a resident board. This is normal for them to do that. The developer has to pick out the supervisors for a new area because there's nobody there that you can elect or anything. So he has to choose them. It may sound a little crooked crooked. Shoot, maybe it is. I don't know. But I don't think it is. I think it's just there has to be somebody in charge. And in a new area, there is nobody there to run for election. So until homes are sold, it takes a couple of years, and then they'll pull their people out, and then you can elect your own people. Well, that being said, I think it's going to be the news for this week. Hope you enjoyed porch setting. If you did, let me know. Put a comment. If this is one of the new hats. This is the logo here. It says, see you on the other side inside this circle. And down here, across here, it says Wednesday Night Live. These hats are new. They're up on the board. And there's another new design that I put up. I think it's a Wednesday Night Live and a see you on the other side, but the logo appears different. It just looks different. And they come in different colors. These hats are like, I don't know, $23. The company ships them to you. They keep the cost of the hat, which is like, I don't even know. I'm going to take a guess here. Say $20, and then I get $3. And that $3, all of it goes to the Children's Wish Foundation. So as you can see, for $3, you got to have a lot of people buy a lot of stuff in order to get any money that amounts to anything, really. But with that being said, let me just say,
don't leave your keys in the golf cart.